Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Fairy Deer. No time wasting, because time is of the essence for me currently, but just a reminder to you all to check the link in the description and check out my dark fantasy original English light novel, The Protector Volume 1, out in ebook, paperback, and audiobook available January 10th, 2025. Let's get into things. As I said, I don't have a lot of time tonight. I'm just trying to make sure these remain consistent. And yeah, I've got something on in an hour, which is how long these episodes usually take, so let's get to it. Arsenic sat in the corner, rubbing his forehead and mumbling to himself. He's been at it for an hour already. Yura still hasn't come back. Maybe we should go look for him. For that arsehole? No. If he wants to play the victim like a little girl, he can sit in the forest all he wants. He's not a kid. He'll come back. Misha, I should say. What? I'm so done with him. He screams at us. He tries to hit on you. He picked a fight with Arsenic for no reason. I'm not going to look for him and try to console him. It's getting dark. The clock's ticking was the loudest sound in the world. I couldn't tear my eyes off his hands. Every click brought the sunset a second closer. Soon the forest will be shrouded in darkness, and the creatures will leave the thicket. I was sure of that. We had seen too many of them recently. Not good, not good. He stood up. I'll go look for Yura. Don't even think about it. Who knows where he went, and it's close to sunset. I'll be the one going. Why are you so stubborn? He had a fight with me. I should be the one to bring him back. I'm telling you. Shush. Let's say you go into the forest and perish there. Do you think Veronica and I will be able to survive on our own? Will we be able to reach some village? I don't even want to hear about it. And what if that creature comes here, like last time? Who will defend Veronica? I gritted my teeth. I can't let you go alone. What if something happens? I won't be able to forgive myself. He smiled and tapped me on the shoulder. I have to do it, Misha. I should be the one. You need to stay here with Veronica. Promise that you won't follow. Arsenic. Promise me. His eyes drilled me from underneath his bushy furrowed brow. What's going on in his head right now? How can he risk his life so easily and talk about it like he's going on a walk? But I couldn't refute him. I couldn't find the words. We can't let Yura die. I sighed in desperation. Okay, I promise. Good. It's just, I know you. You'll definitely chase after me, even this late. He showed me a haphazard smile. After all, we can't get anything if you don't give it your all. Don't worry, I'll be quick. I'll bring Yura back in a blink of an eye. The door slammed shut. Nika and I were left alone. Misha? They'll both be okay, right? Of course, sweetie, of course. I gave her a soft hug. My thoughts were in disarray. I didn't know what to do. Doing chores? Would that be appropriate right now? My insides curled like a spring. I just can't sit and do nothing. The promise I made to Arsenic kept me in place, though. The ticking clock turned into a torture device. An hour passed, and we hadn't even said a word to each other. What can we discuss in a situation like this? The deer? Us? The garden behind our cabin? It all felt wrong. It got completely dark outside. I could barely make out the trees. I can't take it anymore. I'll go after him. But you promised. I shouldn't have. That's nonsense. They're all alone there in the dark, and I'm supposed to be sitting here in the cabin? I know, but we need to trust Arsenovic. Just think about it. How many times has he ventured into the forest alone? Back when he was young, Nika. And he's almost 60 now. Yes, and he'd spent all his life in the forest. He knows his way here. You don't sound convinced. She combed her hair with her fingers. Of course, I'm worried for him. I kept staring at the second hand of the clock. Circle after circle, rotation after rotation. It felt like it was mocking me. Same circular motion over and over. Arsenic and Yura were still in the forest. We hadn't caught the deer yet. Over and over. Over and over. That's it. I jumped up. Arsenic can say what he wants. I'm going after him. The door flung open, and a tall figure wearing a camouflage coat barged into the cabin. Yura, white as a ghost, looked at us with eyes full of fear, struggling to breathe. What? What happened? Creatures. Lots of them. I barely got away. Wait, how? Where's Arsenovic? He found me. We were talking. He staggered and grabbed at the table to keep himself from falling. Yura was shaking all over. The creatures appeared out of thin air. We were able to repel them at first, but... Arsenic's talisman appeared in his hand. The figurine was covered in deep brown spots. Pops gave me the amulet, told me to run, while dashing in the opposite direction. The creatures got confused. They didn't know who to chase. I don't know. Maybe he managed to get away. I'm going to look for him. Wait, what? We can't just abandon him. Stop! Can't you hear me? I tried to go past Yura, but he grabbed me by the shirt and pushed me back. Veronica ran up to me and gripped my arm, but I wasn't about to start a fight anyway. What's wrong with you? He's there, in the forest. We need to help him. You won't help him by fucking dying. But... Are you deaf? Do you think the creatures disappeared just like that? They're wandering around the forest, waiting for their dinner. Do you think Pops would like it if you get eaten? I winced. We'll start searching for him in the morning. Going now would be equal suicide. But he's going to die there. Yura shrugged, then looked at me with deeply sad eyes, like that of an abandoned dog. He'll have to manage somehow. We can't help him right now. I looked at Veronica. She was on the verge of tears. I wanted to say something, but she already turned around. I felt powerless all of a sudden, like a small boy in a big, scary forest. Let's go, sweetie. I carefully grabbed Nika by the arm. You need to go to bed. Veronica didn't protest and let me lead her to our bedroom. As soon as we got to our bed, she lied down silently and curled into a ball. Her shoulders trembled. I reached out to touch her, but then stopped. I couldn't force myself to lie next to her. Instead, I turned around and left the room. Yura had already went to his room. I was alone. Tears welled up in my eyes. Hysterical laughter and anger boiled up inside, along with the desire to crush everything around me. I'm not helpless. The forest won't defeat me. The forest won't defeat me. The forest won't defeat me. Ah! But louder. I fell into the chair, moaning. Something pierced my leg. I winced, stood up, and took the flask that scraped my skin with its cap out of my pocket. I could use something nice right now. I was about to open it, but then froze. What am I doing? Am I supposed to sit here watching sweet dreams? Will I just close my eyes and pretend that everything is fine? That arsenic didn't go missing in the forest? A lump formed in my throat. I swung the flask into a corner with all my might. Damn it. Damn it all. Hold on, Arsenic, please. Please, don't die. We'll find you soon. I stared at the clock once again. Round and round. Round and round. Sleep was slowly winning over me. I needed to stand up and go to Nika, but my legs refused to listen. I didn't even have the strength to look away from the clock. Round and round. Round and round. Heavy branches clanged on my clothes, making it almost impossible to walk. I heard the sound of ripping cloth, but still pressed onward. I knew well that monsters lurked in the dark here. There was no reason for me to go into the forest this late. I needed to go back, but my rage urged me to continue, and the rifle on my back filled me with confidence. I can stay here for a bit before it gets completely dark. Bushes moved. I stopped in my tracks. Something was lurking close by. Shit, how could I have missed it? You can't get distracted in the forest. I'm such an idiot. I had no idea who was hiding in the bushes or how many of them there were. I needed to leave now. Without making a sound. That way, I'd have a chance to survive. Bushes rustled again. I grabbed the rifle, but I had no idea where to aim. My heart was trying to jump out of my chest. My mind was consumed in a panic, and I couldn't think. Who's there? Stay away. A dark figure stepped out from the bushes. The shot left me dazed for a moment, but then the darkness dissolved. In front of me stood Arsenic. A red stain was rapidly spreading on his white shirt. No. No. He started to lean back. I rushed towards him. He was light, as if all the blood had already left his body. Hang on. I'll carry you. Just don't die yet. I heard a howl somewhere nearby. The forest creatures heard the shot and were already running here. Shit. Okay, it's gonna hurt, but please bear with me. No need. He grabbed my shoulder with one hand and put something into my pocket with another. We won't make it together. Save yourself. The creatures roared even closer, their foul stench mixed in with the smell of blood. Run. His words were like an invisible push. They forced me to start running. The creatures clanged their teeth, joyful at the sight of easy prey. I could hear Pops forcing out a scream, trying to get their attention. The cacophony behind me grew louder and louder. The fear inside me grew stronger and stronger. I woke up, gasping for air. Arsenic! 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 Arse. I coughed. My throat hurt after screaming so much. Are you sure there are no tracks? I am. And even if there were any, they'd be too indiscernible by now. Too many beasts have passed here. Yura looked like he was in a trance. He slowly went from one tree to another, picking up evergreen needles. It seemed like he wasn't even trying. Arsenic! Veronica sniffled. It was clear that we weren't going to see Pops again. The forest never lets its prey go. To my knowledge, the only person who could spend several nights in the thicket and come out alive was Yura. And Arsenic. He had more experience, but not enough physical strength. Sometimes people didn't come back from the forest. At those moments, everyone else went to search for them, shouting, trying to find their tracks, yet they never found anyone. That wasn't the point. Those searches were a way to say goodbye, a way to show the forest that it can't take that it just can't take any one of us. I'd been through this many times, but only now did I realize how painful it was. Arsenic! But why now? Now, when the deal was already so close. Why did you go back to look for Yura Arsenovic? He returned safe and sound, and you didn't want to die in this hellish place. I struck my fist against the wood with all my might I could muster. Bark scratched my skin with its sharp edges, but I could barely feel any pain. Anger boiled up inside. Hey, Yura. I turned around, continually clenching and unclenching my reddened fist. How could you abandon him? Is this an accusation? Yeah, the whole story sounds fishy. You went into the forest and came back. Arsenic went to look for you and died. Don't you think it's unfair? Yura's face went so white that the scars covering it seemed too dark, almost black. Watch your tongue. He was my friend too. Then why did you abandon him? Why didn't you let us try to help him? Because you wouldn't have survived the forest at night. You know that, yet you still talk like I was the one who sent Pops to his death. Come on, don't be shy. Say it. Say it so Nika could hear. Say that I am a murderer. His voice became hoarse on the last word. Yura, drenched in sweat, looked at me with such anger that I wanted to punch him again. It's not about you, you asshole. Arsenic is dead. That's right. He is. And you're looking for someone to blame. And would you look at that? My name is always the first in your list. For the past week you've been constantly blaming me for one thing or another. I had my reasons, bastard. You would have been all gone without me. I hunt, I place traps, I look for the deer's tracks, all me. And what do you do all day long? Sitting in Nika's lab going on tirades about how good the beautiful tomorrow is? Look at yourself before trying to mess with me. The hell? I go into the forest as much as you. I do chores at home. Besides, I gathered this team, so don't even try shutting me up. Yura straightened up and clenched his fists. You were just a snotty kid when I could already track any beast in the forest. Without me, you stand no chance of finding that fucking deer. Without you, Arsenovic would still be alive. Nika gave me a mighty slap to the face. I stood there, stunned, unable to process what just happened. Yura wanted to say more, but a single look from my wife was enough to shut him up. That's enough. Go home. You're clearly better off not seeing each other right now. He doesn't deserve you. Nika immediately grasped my hand. I really wanted to punch Yura's face, but what was I supposed to do? Fight with my wife? We just watched him walk in the cabin's direction, rustling with fallen leaves. Let's go. Then it finally dawned on me. She just hit me. Where to? Do you want to continue searching? To the stream. You need to calm down. She gave me a slight tug, and I let her lead me by the hand. I had no strength to resist. I tilted my head upwards and watched pine tops waver in the wind. It felt like the forest was feeding on our despair. It squeaked and clicked, laughing at us. It devoured everything that shined, the sun, our dreams, our lives, leaving us with no respite. Even Nika couldn't endure it. She was getting worse with every passing second. The deer, I need to find it. For arsenic's sake. We'll place more traps. We'll venture into the forest more often. I'll have to persuade Yura, but even that arsehole would work hard for the beautiful tomorrow. A branch scratched at my face, returning me to reality. We're almost there. I can already see the clearing from here. We'd better go home. Everything happened because of this stream. If Arsenovic didn't argue with Yura about the water, this wouldn't have happened. We would still be together. You need to calm down first. A flash of light hit my eyes. I squinted. This place was too bright, too unnatural. I didn't think that before. The magic water washed away all my suspicions. Inside the forest, evergreen paws didn't let light through, and tiny clearings were covered by thick fog. But this place was clear. Among these grim trees, the stream was like a bright fire for trusting moths. Veronica sat me down on the ground. Instinctively, I combed through the grass. It was soft and smooth. Why didn't I notice how unnatural this place was before? We need to talk. See, okay, as I was saying in the last episode, I'm gonna just save it. I think I'm up. Yeah, if you look at them side by side now, I actually think I'm up to the latest point of my game, or like where I played. So this will be good. You hit me. I found no pleasure in doing so. The stream was loud, louder than the whole world. If you think I took your side or something... No, I know that's not the case. You got out of hand. What you said was terrible. I didn't reply. It was difficult to focus on her words because of how distracting the sound of running water was. Misha! Uh-huh. We need to do something. Things are falling apart. We already tried, just recently. Have you forgotten? She curled her lips. Since we got married, things only got worse. Marriage is not the answer. It won't work out here. We only have the future and the beautiful tomorrow. Nothing is working out because you're not even trying. That deer is the only thing that occupies your mind, even now with Arsenovic. Tears sparkled in the edges of her eyes, and Nika turned around. I slowly leaned into her. I'm also hurt, but even in moments like this, I can't stop thinking about us. About you. I need to do everything to ensure your safety, to prevent this tragedy from repeating. She shuddered. I don't like... There's the blank eyes again. Are your parents happy? What's with this question? Just tell me. I want to know. I'm going to turn my fan on because if you didn't know, it's like 40 degrees here. Celsius. Have the air conditioner going. And even that alone is not helping. Leave a few seconds of silence so I can knock out the noise. Alright. Well, I think so, yeah. Dad loved Mom a lot, and used to bring her flowers all the time. And the smile she wore when he returned home from the forest. It was so warm. Although Mom also cried a lot. She was afraid that someday Dad wouldn't return. And when that eventually happened, she stopped smiling altogether. As if her heart was empty. She moved around the house like a ghost. I gulped down the lump that formed in my throat. I tried to forget that part of my life. It was then when I decided to catch the deer. I didn't want a life like that. And I don't want it for my kids either. But they were happy, if only for a short time. But they were. What do you mean? We need to stop. We don't need to catch the deer. Didn't you hear what I just told you? I did. And I understand you perfectly, but this is just wrong. We'll all die chasing the future. The forests have already shown you that. So what? Should we just give up? I'd rather burn our cabin down myself than let the forest win. Veronica stood up and gave me a puzzled look, then turned around and walked toward the stream. Where are you going? She went into the water. The cold stream that touched her body made her shudder. She took a step, 2 steps, then suddenly stumbled and fell into the stream. Nika, are you alright? That's a good thumbnail. A cute bit of art. She stood up, wiping her face, and turned to me. I froze in place after seeing her expression. It was full of pain and despair. I felt horrible just looking at her. This is definitely... Okay, I have to be completely honest, this is definitely the furthest... Like, now, 100% confirmed. Furthest I've made it in the game. Please, stay with me. Sweetie, I'm not going anywhere. No, you're already so distant. You're running after that damn deer. She grabbed the heavy hem of her drenched dress, and lifted it up. I saw her pale skin covered in goosebumps. My heart started thumping. My head buzzed. We felt so good together. Remember how we could just sit inside for days, just enjoying each other's company? The others had to literally drag you out into the forest. Don't you want to go back to those times? Her voice sounded desperate. Nika trembled, either from being cold or from crying. Of course I do. I stepped forward and stopped near the water's edge. We can go back. We will return to the village, and things will be just like then. We don't need to wait for the beautiful tomorrow to be happy. Yes, the forest is dark and dangerous, but at least there's something here, and we don't even know if the deer exists. I entered the stream. My boots immediately flooded, and my hot body scalded by the water. Vika had lost her voice, so she started whispering. I'm tired of running. Let's stop. You wanted a family, right? We have it. Child, do you want to make one right here, right now? We can live a good life together, just please. Please. Let's stop chasing the deer. I got close to her. Nika's breathing was ragged as she shook all over from the cold. She stretched her hands out to me, touching my chest with her ice-cold fingers. I embraced her shoulders in reply. I know you're scared. I'm scared too. The forest took someone dear to us. How can we not be terrified? But please understand, we can't stop now, or everything we did would be in vain. Misha, She staggered. The water. I immediately scooped Nika in my hands. The stress, the long search, and the stream's influence took their toll on her. I have no strength to go anywhere. It's okay, sweetie, it's okay. I'll carry you home. A colossal tree, Arsenic's last resting place, spread its thistly paws before me. Hidden amongst the dark emerald branches were countless ribbons that weren't as colourful as they were a week or two ago. Just recently, Nika and I swore our eternal love under this tree, and now we're burying our friend here. Why is the forest so unfair and cruel? Why does it take away the best people? Why not me or Yura? Where do you think people go after death? She didn't reply, just grasped the backgammon board in her hands even tighter. It was the only memento Arsenic left behind. I wonder, where is he now? Did he meet his Tanya in the heavens? Is he enjoying his time on the other side? Most likely, yes. Any place is better than the forest. I'm done. He leaned the shovel against the trunk and wiped sweat off his forehead. I couldn't force myself to look down. At the shallow grave where... No, I couldn't. I still couldn't believe Arsenic was dead. Come. I wanted to delay this moment, to stay away. My legs refused to follow my commands. Arsenic. My throat stung. I bit on my lower lip until it hurt, trying to hold back tears. You were a good man. Veronica put the board in the center of the cavity with trembling hands. She was careful, as if she was afraid it could fall apart. My heart sank into abyssal depths. There was only one thought in my mind. Arsenic was no longer with us. David, it's all my fault. He fell to his knees, eyes fixed on the board. If not for me, you wouldn't have gone into that damn forest, and you'd still be alive right now. I'm sorry. Nika and I followed his example and leaned over the grave. Yura was biting his lips, anxious and oblivious to his surroundings. I didn't tell you that often, but you were like a real dad to me. What would have become of me if you weren't around? You were a good man, Arsenic. Too bad you didn't live to see beautiful tomorrow. His eyes sparkled, and his voice started trembling. You deserved more than this forest. I hope you're in a better place right now. Rest in peace, old-timer. Yura broke down and looked away. Tears streamed down his cheeks. He threw himself to the side, looking for support, right into Veronica's embrace. I heard Yura's muffled sniffs from her shoulder. That returned me to reality for a moment. The reality where Yura was acting like an arsehole. Why is he clinging to my wife like this? Why is he doing this right now, when we're performing last rites for our friend? Arsenic's words about the water that makes you angry for no reason flashed in my mind. I heaved a deep sigh. Whatever. After all, Yura is also human. A person stricken with grief. I outstretched my hand and carefully touched the board's smooth surface. Arsenic. Sorry you couldn't make it into the day we catch the deer. You've earned your place in the beautiful tomorrow more than any of us. My lips trembled. I couldn't talk anymore. David Arsenovic. She didn't try to hold back her tears. Her voice trembled. She stuttered. You've done so much for us. We were so lucky to have you. Please, rest in peace. We just stared at the backgammon board in silence. Silence that would only be broken by someone sniffling from time to time. How long had we spent like that? A minute? 10 minutes? An hour? Everybody knew what we needed to do, but nobody had the courage to stand up and finish the deed. Yura stood up and took the shovel in his hands several times, but always threw it away the next moment. Misha, I can't. Will you do it? As if I could bury the last memento we had of Arsenovic. Every cell of my body refused to listen to me when I tried to grab the shovel's handle. Time flowed unbearably slow, but I just couldn't force myself to do it. Let's do it together. Yura nodded, and we started throwing soil into the grave, a handful at a time. Arsenic was no longer with us. This was the only thing I could think about. Nika shut her eyes and turned away to avoid watching Arsenic's last rites. It does. I wailed up to the mighty spruce and put my hand on its trunk. Take care of him. He was a good man. Without saying a single word more, we went away, leaving the rustling I don't know how to pronounce this, behind with dulled out ribbons tied to its evergreen branches. I didn't think that word was going to come up again. The cabin felt empty and uncomfortable, as if we had never lived here, and yesterday was our first day here. A lonely bottle glistened on the table. What's this? I brought it out. Yura wiped his face with the sleeve of his coat. Pops hid it in the cellar, behind the shovel. There was a note tied to it. Open in the beautiful tomorrow. That's why I decided to. He sniffed and turned away. It's okay. Veronica opened the cabinet. Something small clanged, and then 3 shot glasses appeared on the table. They were also brought here by Arsenic back in the day. I laughed back then, thinking that we will never find the time to drink here. And now this happened. How do we do it? Without a toast. The liquid burned my throat. Arsenic probably wanted to take this bottle out as soon as we got to the beautiful tomorrow. He would have accompanied it with some beautiful toast. He would have said plenty of good things about all of us. Tears stung my eyes. How did it come to this? Maybe we should say something. There's nothing to be said anymore. He directed his sad gaze at the table's uneven surface. We could talk about Arsenic for hours. He did that much good throughout his life. He struggled against the forest to the very end. He almost made it. He almost saw the beautiful tomorrow. Yura suddenly turned to me. We won't give up, will we? Even after this, we'll still keep going, right? That way Arsenic, he gulped, wouldn't have died in vain. I glanced at Veronica, but she just sat there, silent, almost curled into a ball. After we had returned from the forest, she barely talked to me. Of course, the deer will be ours. Yura nodded and emptied another glass. Misha, look, He glanced at the talisman that was placed on the shelf near the door. Nobody had the courage to put it away, or at least clean it. I know that we haven't been on the best of terms lately, but after all that happened, let's not go there, Yura. I know that sometimes my emotions got the better of me. I went too far with Veronica that time. She's your wife, after all. I shouldn't have bothered her. He heaved a deep sigh. The forest is eroding all the good in us. I'm so tired. So tired. We haven't even seen the real sun out here. We just heard that it exists. And all of this is so oppressing. Another glass got emptied. Now, when arsenic is gone, our quarrels, I'm sorry for everything. It's okay, Yura. It's okay. The bottle didn't last for long. The only thing breaking the cabin's silence was the ticking clock. Arsenic's clock. That sound was getting on my nerves. Every click reminded me about our failure. My failure. And then there was nothing I could do to fix things. There's no way to bring arsenic back. All right. I'll be going. Right, Misha. I couldn't sit still anymore. I felt worse with every passing moment. The stream and the alcohol made me sleepy, and my head was getting heavier and heavier. I could barely manage to get to my bed before sinking into darkness. Hello there, Misha. Arsenic. How could it be? We were just giving you your last rites. You did the right thing. I'm dead, after all. How? I'm dead because of you, Misha. I heard a window shaking roar from outside. Why did you let me go alone? You knew I wouldn't return. When was the last time someone as old as me returned? Somebody scraped against the door. I need to block it, or that thing will get inside. I couldn't move. David's glare pinned me down. And now I'm dead. And you're alive, with Veronica, inside a warm house. Do you think that's fair? Arsenic, Do you know what you have to do? Go into the forest and die there. Die. Die! The door flung open, and an all-engulfing darkness invaded the cabin. Arsenic screamed when the black claws caught us. After that, there was nothing but darkness.